Hi, this is Boris. Welcome to Movie Messenger. So this is another episode of UNCONFUSE Me. So this is my podcast, and as usual, I always have a guest whenever I do this podcast. That's the reason why I call this UNCONFUSE Me, because I feel like I'm already always in a state of confusion. And so this episode, I have a special guest, and it's really sad because we don't get to hang out a lot. But and I met him through a meetup, which is like most people I meet in Bangkok. And so yeah, I'll want to introduce you to Venky. Hi man, how are you?
Hi Boris, pleasure to be on the channel.
Yeah, sure man.
So yeah, I've been doing good. Quite a busy couple of months. And what's up?
Yeah, great. No, I just wanted to catch up with you because first, I just wanted to know about you. Like, take us to the memory lane because, like I said, I don't know why. So somehow, like our schedules don't match.
We know each other for quite some time, but we barely met.
Yeah. So tell me, like, where were you born? Like.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in India, so in the eastern part, as I would say in Odisha specifically. But I'm always a native of Chennai from the south. And I was born and raised in a completely different culture, and then I had to move back to my native, and I was traveling and being exposed to different cultures and different languages, different kinds of people, and probably that's the reason I like traveling, I guess.
Yeah.
So and finally I ended up in Bangkok 3 years ago, chasing after a job, an IT job, just like every other Indian does.
Not me.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a stereotype.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and then here I am, and
right.
like we met almost 2 years ago on a meetup.
Yeah, it's just I don't see the time go by. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
there are a lot of things that happen. So okay, I mean, I was I grew up in Pondicherry, which is like it's in the same state. So basically, you can speak Tamil also, right?
I do,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that was one of the things which surprised me because most of the time when I meet other Indians in Bangkok, I speak to them in English, and then it always it always surprises Thai people, and they ask me like, why aren't you speaking in Indian like
Yeah,
and then you have to.
exactly. Yeah.
And you have to explain like why.
Yeah, I remember explaining the Thai people how many languages there are in India and how
Yes.
different it's like many countries in one country.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, that's very cool.
Wasn't that? I mean, I don't want to go. I'm not a because I studied in a French school, so I wasn't exposed to the Indian history. But I think that was the idea that because they were considered like small villages, and like I think the idea was to keep them independent. Not
Exactly.
To,
Yes.
And actually, it's really impressive how it works, even if it's messy. Okay, so you grew up. So what were the movies or the cartoons or what was your jam, as they say, when you were growing up?
Yeah, so I would say since I grew up, I'm always in a dream world, I would say. So I'm more into science fictions and some futuristic idea that doesn't fit well in present scenarios.
Yeah.
So that was my basic interest, and in my adolescence, probably in high school, and I had like a big interest in cars and automobiles. So I was more restricted to see how automobiles and transportations will be in present and near future, and that led me into lots of comics, movies, and lots of science fictions, and where future is described as something that bends our creativity and makes us imagine, oh wow, this could be done.
Yeah.
This looks so futuristic, something like that. And then I ended up watching a lot of movies, and of course, when loves fantasy and science fiction and things about future, they always end up into comic book heroes because they always wield some powers that makes them separate from what a normal life would be. So I started being into comics, and as far as I recollect, I spent a lot of time watching Spider-Man and lots of Marvel comics just before school or coming back after school, and
Are you talking about because in India when I was I don't know, I think are we the same age? Like I'm 32. So.
I'm 28.
Okay. Like I was going to ask like maybe I think we maybe grew up on the same things because when you say Spider-Man, was it the Amazing Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Yeah.
It was the old cartoon.
The Amazing
okay.
Spider-Man, the Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It kept changing
because. In India, I think they don't have these channels anymore. They used to have Star World or Star Movies and Star. So Star World, that's where they put the series like Lost World and
the television
Gina
series.
the Warrior Princess So okay, that's great. Like and you grew up on Cartoon Network, I guess.
Yeah, I grew up on Cartoon Network, and then for a time I went more childish and was watching Nickelodeon and other TV channels, and so that's how I was more into. I think that led into more of how easy it is to describe certain daily things in terms of comic books, and some stories have really deep messages.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how it is hard for a person to express that, but we end up doing the same with just comic book characters. And
no, it's like we talked about this, like I made this video called Why We Need Superheroes because there was and I didn't expect this, but when I was making the video, Stan Lee passed away.
Yes.
So then I made this video, and then it became this tribute for Stan Lee, right? So but then so Bill Maher, who is this liberal, I like this guy. He has a really interesting ideas, but then he accused the superheroes TV shows, and because I agree there are too many TV shows, there are too many superhero movies, superhero shows, like wherever you turn, and it's because at the end of the day it's business. So
exactly.
The executives, they choose what they can sell on the market. So because they need to get their money back, and they need to keep their jobs, because it's good to have of course, new ideas, right? We always crave for new ideas, but
exactly,
when you invest on a new idea and it doesn't work, like you lose your job. I've never been an executive, but I guess that's the logical.
Yeah, it affects many people. Yes.
So, of course, there are so many superhero movies, comic books, and stories, and Bill Maher actually basically accused the superhero that he said that it makes people lazy, and then it makes people expect heroes, and that's the reason why, like in US they elected Donald Trump. And then I was like, yeah, but that's too much of a stretch. Like you are connecting something which has been happening for a long time. Like comics exist since 1938, or even before, right? Like hieroglyphs, like Egyptians.
Yeah.
They were images and letters. Those are comics.
Exactly.
Like cavemen, they drew. They didn't write. They drew on the cave. So in a way, those are also comics. So it was way to communicate what you felt, and so anyway, we'll get there. But so still in your journey. So okay, so you have science fiction which captures your imagination. Of course, you grew up on comics. So you were originally interested in cars? So did you go towards engineering when you were studying?
Yeah, my interest was into designing, so automobile designing. But then, of course, there was so many obstacles to pursue that dream, so it slowly turned towards engineering that's mainstream, and it was just a matter of completing the degree and finding a job. So I kept this passion to myself, and it was working as a release of stress. So I would just end up scribbling in the back of a notebook, or just on another window of Photoshop, and just draw something while trying.
Yeah.
So
actually, now that I think of it, I did meet you on a meetup, but not on a meet and greet meetup.
Yeah,
we met on the art meetup.
We met on the sketching.
Okay, now I remember. Yes, because I remember you were doing these beautiful shaded sketches
on black paper,
on black paper. It was really amazing. Okay, so right in there, you were like me, like a guy who wanted to do something else, but is doing something because money.
So many,
Yeah,
there's so many elements that affect our decision.
And so you go, so you say to yourself, okay, if I become an artist, I'll like starve to death. So you took like engineering, IT.
So eventually I did engineering, and then one thing led to another. So as I finished engineering, then there comes the idea of getting a job. Then there's IT hiring everywhere in India, like in large scales, and then getting into IT, then having a taste of good stable income over months, and it's kind of a way of distracting ourselves from other things, and we just buy things for ourselves and satisfy ourselves in short terms. It just led to another, and I did travel. My first travel outside of India was on a business trip. I went to California, and of course California means Hollywood, and we go to Hollywood, and there's so there's so much epic. I still remember like so many people dressed in cosplay, and of course they were doing it for money, and the whole street is so lively with all these characters coming to life, and of course they came to life from those streets. So that's how we know them.
So wait, was it a Comic-Con?
It was not a Comic-Con. It's usually once you step into the streets of Hollywood, pretty much every characters we have seen across comics and movies, they just...
You mean you were on what is called the Hollywood Boulevard?
The Hollywood Boulevard,
stars.
those streets. So there's people dressed
up
in these dresses, and of course I would be
they
so happy if I...
and then they say $10.
Like something, exactly. I would have been so happy if there was a Comic-Con and I went there. That must have been great. So that's something which told me, okay, coming outside our own comfortable shell, we just spend so much time trying to ignore other things and satisfy on small stuff. Then when I started traveling, coming this far, and saw there was a bit of cultural shock, and there was a bit of dream come true. So things which we imagined, when we say, oh, these are things foreigners do or the Western people do, we completely separate it as a completely entire entity, different entity, and we think that doesn't fit our life. But then we go out and we see those are just people like us, but they have a more taste, and they actually invest themselves towards these tastes.
It's true. It's like the difference between men and women. We are different, but we are the same in a way. Like the same body parts are in different places, and the same nerve endings are in different.
Eventually, we have the same needs, but it's presented in a different way, so we think they are different. But eventually, everything is same. So that was something that said, okay, just a small business trip where I was supposed to just work every day 9 to 5. I was able to discover some things. So I had the craving of, okay, I don't want to stay at one place and work a daily job, so let me come out, and I started looking for a job, and eventually ended up being in Bangkok. And Bangkok is like a India that transcended into something else. So it has certain qualities that represent our way of living, but then it is amalgamated with so many other ideas and cultures, and of course it's a country that attracts so much tourists from across the world, and these guys, catering to them, they have made themselves into a form that is completely imperceivable to know what the idea is. That makes things more exciting, maybe concerning, but mostly exciting.
But it's of course whenever you go out, you always make the comparison with your own culture.
That's very normal, I suppose.
It's like when you go eat at the Indian restaurant, you think about your mother's cooking, because that's your reference point.
Exactly. We compare it to that, or then we compare it to the next best food we had, and that's the way we understand what the choices we're making are good or bad.
So because so you said, from a boy who actually got his mind blown in through comics and science fiction, which showed him another world, right? Like that's what traveling does.
Exactly.
And of course, those I just wrote a blog post where I said, if you can't afford traveling, how can you travel without traveling? Like books do that. Books in a way. Of course, you have to invest some time to get into the story, because like I used to read books like when I took like BTS or like when I couldn't do anything else.
Anything, okay.
So I would do like half an hour bits of reading. So that, and then I realized that no, actually, if you just sit down in the afternoon and then just read for like 1 hour, like 1 hour and a half, and that really like like sometimes I'll get a lot of ideas, and then I can't sit down. I put the book down and then I walk around the apartment. I just like talk to myself and then I write. So that's what art should do. Like, so how, because you were already attracted by the visual medium. So
yeah.
By the way, we are shooting in your camera with professional equipment once.
Yeah.
Like but again, like I didn't wait. I just started shooting with my phone until I.
The thing is, most of the time it is just the idea of doing it, then how we are doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So why, like I don't know what clicked that what made you turn into like because you have a YouTube channel, which because I remember, is it now you have changed it? Or did you change the Instagram?
I changed my Instagram account. I'm also working on changing my YouTube account as well.
So what is so plug it in.
So yeah, my channel's name was Venky Needs to Live. So it came up in a state of crisis where I was seeing the way I could live, but I wasn't pursuing it enough. That's when I started my channel, and then slowly I started pursuing what I wanted to be or where I wanted to be. So then probably my Instagram account that was Venky Needs to Live is now Venky is Living, and so will be the YouTube channel. So yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, great. So what was the idea when you created the channel?
So mostly when I came to Thailand, it was as I was blown away by all the landscapes and all the people, the lifestyles and everything. One thing also led me is the freedom of choice. So my priorities changed. So I was able to invest my weekends into being by myself, traveling around. So almost every weekend I used to travel to different parts of Thailand. Sometimes to the islands. Of course, Thailand has beautiful islands, and it has some amazing mountains up north as well. So I ended up traveling every now and then, and I needed a way of expressing. I used to take photos, a lot of photos, and I realized it just ended up staying in a hard disk without having a purpose, because it was just me capturing what I saw, but it did not express what I liked about what I saw. So then I was trying to be more into make stories or try to express my experiences of what I was doing or where I was doing. So that's when I was trying to make more videos and try to create some montages, and that was my way of showing where I was. And if you check out my videos, it's never me in the videos. I never show myself in the videos. It's more of what I see.
Yeah.
So that's what my channel represents. It's what I see and what I experience.
Yeah.
So that's one way which I'm trying to grow better and more to tell stories that matter to people than just see pretty pictures. It has to mean more than that.
Yeah. It's like. I think I saw the last one you did was for Diwali, I think.
Yeah, the last one was for the family.
And it was so, there are really, like, it's really heartwarming, it's really adorable, like, the way you shot it. It's really great. And, so, as a photographer, so I was just reading, so, I showed you the book, Homo Deus, and in this book he says, we used to make fun of Japanese people because they used to have really expensive cameras and then they would just go everywhere take pictures.
Everywhere taking pictures, yes.
But he said now we've all become Japanese because we always carry a camera with us, and then we just take photos.
Yeah.
So for me, like, when for example you capture something that moves you, like something that you find beautiful, or there's a But I just feel like some people, are doing a reporting, not a not capturing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
when it comes to
what do you think about that?
Yeah, when it comes to social media, the original idea of having a social media was to connect people who are at distance.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was more about informing the other person of what they are up to and what they're doing, or what they see, what they do and experience. Unlike when we used to have letters, or we just would wait until someone shows up to our home and then we sit down and discuss, okay, tell me how your life was, and just catch up and they explain it. But now it has become, because we are all more connected, we keep just posting, and we just hope that people who care about us will get to know about what we are doing or what we are saying. So that's the way it has become, and you're exactly right. It's pretty much reporting to the people they care about, but eventually now social media is much bigger than just our close circle of people. There's like billions of people watching it every now and then. So yeah, you're right about your opinion on that.
I will also be careful with that, because and okay, I'm not the guy. I always criticize technology, but I'm not the guy who, so there are two extremes. Like, I think that there are people who are so into social media that I believe that they don't really know what they're doing, but they are just doing it because they want the dopamine rush of seeing likes and
the numbers.
And on the other side, I hear people are like, "Oh no, man, no more Facebook. I'm getting out of Facebook." Like, no, actually, we have this thing that we asked for it. Like it didn't just fall from the sky. We wanted it, right? Like you said, when you had pictures, and then you wanted to tell a story, and then sort of technology caught up to your imagination. That's like for the Marvel movies.
Exactly, yeah.
Like back in the day when they made the Hulk series, they painted Luke Ferrigno. And now Hulk can be the monster that he was actually in the comics, right? So, but what I'm saying is that we have this thing in social media, but then let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can use it to our best interest, right? I'm not in both extremes, and I'm not the guy saying like we should stop social media, because without social media, I couldn't put my art out there. I put my art on Instagram. Exactly. Of course, I'm in touch with my friends from India, from Germany, from France, and so but the point is, I feel like it's okay to be silent. That's what I'm saying.
It's a fact that we put ourselves into something and then we make it necessary, and we have the problem with closure, right? We would say, what's the name called? ACD, or it's a phenomenon where we have this necessity to do it, even though it is not necessary. We don't assess what we are doing, but we are so used to doing it that we just keep doing. We keep repeating. Disorder. Something like compulsive disorder, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So that's the thing. So we are so afraid to change, although we always look for change. Either we do something too much to get bored, and then when it comes to change, we are so afraid because we are not completely informed about the outcome. We always have a factor that creates some uncertainty, and uncertainty always brings us fear than excitement. So we end up doing the same thing yet complaining about it. So that's something which we as individuals, we have to recognize when to do and when to stop, and it is absolutely okay to do or stop, because it's only us who gets excited, or who gets depressed, or who gets happy, or who gets sad by what we are doing. Half the people outside, they don't give a shit after some time, because they have so many people to look at. So if you are not there, they will always be judging someone else. So eventually it doesn't matter. It's about our own satisfaction.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that I feel like people have become silent sharers than creators. Okay. It seems arrogant coming from me, because everything I put out is something that I like. If it's a podcast, I recorded it. If it's a video, I made it. If it's a cartoon, I drew it. So, it sounds. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to, be a creator or like try to learn to draw. Of course, everybody should draw, but
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is that when you're sharing something like an article or a video or anything, of course, like I understand like your need to share, like you want to see a reaction, like so much so now we have reaction videos where we watch people watching something, right?
Exactly.
So now what? I'm going to lose my point.
But actually, the microphone died. Yes. I have to see what.
Is it battery?
I'm not sure it's the battery or if it went to sleep.
But it's good, you cut me in the right moment.
You can get your point. Yeah, I think it's the battery. Anyways, it was good going. Let's look at the video while you pick up your points.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we are discussing about people becoming silent sharers.
Yeah, instead of creators, right? So like I said, it may sound arrogant coming from me because I sort of create almost everything I put out. Except for trailers or something.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that people feel that they need to share, otherwise they'll miss something, right? So like you said, we talked about OCD. Like they do it because they feel that they have to do it.
They have to do it.
But I don't really mind you sharing a video of a cat or something like a picture of something. But I just want to know a little bit, personalize it, like put what made you share this, what was going through your mind when you took this picture, or what I don't know, something like so that at least so that gives me
that in a way we can tell us that we care more about it. So if we see something and if we enjoyed it and we want to share the enjoyment, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if it strikes you enough, and it's not always one thing is we share to everyone, and one thing is when we see something and we enjoy it, we sometimes think of another person who we know might enjoy it. So that's one place where what we share, rather than create what we share, becomes a bit more personal, and it shows our investment into how we are perceiving it and why we are sharing it to a certain person, and it creates a connection. But yes, now it has become a blind sharing, more of a automated way of life than
okay. So just to close this point, what I was going to say is that so at a certain point I don't see the difference between me being a friend with a human being and me being subscribed to New York Times or CNN or something that who like the company that puts out just videos.
Correct.
Without any even companies I think put like a headline or like a small introduction to videos. But anyway, just I just felt that I have to say that because like I said, I don't take part in the two extremes. I don't want social media to go away. I don't want to be so much into it so that I don't see the the defects or the flaws in it, right? So I want to be in the space where we let's just criticize each other and just question things and then just make things better, right? That's
just to ask why and go a bit further and just share it because it means something to each of us, not just.
Okay, so yes, it's just to lighten the mood a little bit. What are the things that I don't know? Tell me about your favorite movies or your favorite TV shows. Let's start with movies.
Let's start with movies. And movies, the one that the latest or not so latest that affected me in a great way was Interstellar.
Okay.
Probably it's famous.
And people hated that movie, no? I love that movie. I think it's sort of it's for a particular cult of people, I think.
I guess, because of course it depends on what intent the person is watching. It can become an entertainment. It can become a psychological movie that intends to tell some deep messages about the affection between people and how it can inspire or influence people to make certain choices. And it explains about our pursuit towards stars, space, the space programs, and the crisis, the economic crisis of the food. It covers that part, and it covers the connection between the family, just a simple family. It takes into multiple forms, and apart from that, it has its own fiction where it brings things to life that may or may not be acceptable in a normal thing, because that movie is intended to represent a possible future than rather fiction. So yeah, it takes several forms, and that movie kind of affected, and every time I watch it has some certain meaning attached to it at certain points. And as far as television soaps goes, I'm not much into TV shows. I try not to be. Of course, I have spent my time on lots of TV shows, but it again, I feel it takes too much of my time in a frequent interval. So I try to avoid subscribing myself and watching Netflix or Amazon for whatever videos. But yeah, I used to since college I used to follow The Big Bang Theory. It is one of the fascinating TV show that always lightens the mood, at the same time it informs in many ways.
I don't know, dude, like, because I remember I watched it the first time. So my friend made me watch it the first time in 2007, 2008 when I was doing my bachelor, and it's at the time it was funny. It was like Simpsons. When I was a kid, I found Simpsons funny. Like, but then I grew up, and then I don't find Simpsons funny anymore, except for certain moments. Like so because I don't know. I've seen so many things that it takes like an extreme version of things to make me laugh or something. Big Bang Theory. I think maybe the first 2 seasons or 3 seasons were good.
I guess it depends. For me, because I had not, of course, during the high school and college ages, the series like Friends and we had the 2.5 Men. Those were more famous. It was more about either romantic or just satirical comedy. But this one attracted me more because of the character of Sheldon, who is always trying to be accurate about the information he shares. So it was more of a way. It gives you knowledge about certain things, and of course it has its.
I don't know if I learned anything from Sheldon, but
no, it's. I wouldn't say it alone gives you the whole knowledge, but it encourages you to go and look up after something. There's always discussion about stars, space, the particulars, physics. I think in my school life, I wouldn't say I was a nerd, nor I would say I was just a regular high school dumb guy, but I was in between that, and I was always my interests were always 2 steps away from the regular education. I felt it did not fit well, and things that attracted to me, of course, I was more attracted to space and the particle physics and the universe of the small and the universe of the big. So those attracted me. So I wasn't a good academic, but I was invested into so many other genres of knowledge. So so that made me get attracted to certain comics and certain not exactly comics. I would put myself here and say I'm guilty of not reading enough. I'm not much of a reader, and for me it's difficult for me to focus and read a sequence. I always skip lines and end up creating my own story in my head. So I never pay full attention to what I read. So I always end up watching a movie version of it, or just a watch comic series, comic TV series and stuff. So that's, I would say, everything. Whenever someone says, for example, the time when the Dan Brown's, the Da Vinci Code or the Angels and Demons, those series, everyone loves the book and they think the movie doesn't. The movie doesn't give. Of course, there's always, when people take sides, there's always differences. But yeah.
But anyway, like adaptations, I want to solve this problem for once and for all. Like, okay, you cannot stop adaptations first. Okay, so that's the first point, because, and also adaptations sometimes help the book get sold more, so it helps the author.
Yeah.
Of course, will there be a gap? Of course, yeah. That's why it's called adaptation. Otherwise, like for example, Sin City. What's good and bad about Sin City is that it's the same as the comics. They try to do exactly the same. There's no personal vision of.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So that's the point. But adaptation means like something.
The idea. Just take the idea and give it a shape.
Yeah, and so what I'm saying is that even if the adaptation is like it sucks, the book doesn't disappear. Like book is still there, so you can still read the book.
Yes.
So yeah, that's
But yeah, if I would say there is a 1.5 hour movie or a 1 month long book, I personally would always choose the movie over it. And of course, it has its visual thing.
I had the same trouble when I would read a novel. I would start reading it, I would never finish it. So, but then I noticed as I grew older and when I started writing my own stories, creating it as if it's like a physical. It was occupying a physical space, as if I was letting a faucet open to things. And then now I can take more stories in. So and before I think everything was inside my mind. I had to draw it or I had to speak about it.
Yeah, I think we can't just keep consuming all the time.
Yeah, so when I start letting and then of course I could read books. Like I said,
probably that's something to think about. Just
like I said, audiobooks I can't listen to for the moment. Maybe I'll get used to it later. But books have helped me improve my concentration. Like I would always do something and then I would want to do something else immediately without finishing this.
Yeah.
But now I always like finish this and then move to the next one, because I don't know, books in a way trained me that way. And for the information, like I fell in love with books after school, not school didn't help me. So because in school they were forcing you to read some books. So anyway, so what is your like future plan or what? So you talked about the YouTube channel. So is that what?
So YouTube channel is something that I definitely want to grow. Of course, there was a time when there's so many YouTubers. Even now, there's so many YouTubers becoming every day, and some even getting views. And I'm trying to get out of the idea of running after views or keeping it as main source of income, but I have to make it the way as I want to do it, because I'm passionate about telling stories through videos, and not because it's a job that I need to be good at. So that's the barrier I have been recently trying to break, and probably that will open up the way I think, and to express myself the way I want, then try to express something that others would expect, and just chase impractical things, making assumptions and running after the money behind it. And of course, nowadays it's a bit more difficult.
Of course, like as an artist, people say you're a sellout and so on. But listen, I'm trying to make a living from my art, because I rather put energy on something that I love than something that I have to work in someone else's company. So, so I've been doing I took. Of course, you have to have a backup plan. Like I didn't just leave everything and then just become an artist. I teach, so that allows me to pay my bills, and then at the same time I create things.
So now that you know that your basic necessities are taken care of from a part of your life, then what you invest into your creativity is solely dedicated to your creativity. It is never shared with anything else, and eventually it will grow when at its own space. So that's the process I'm going through right now. So I felt so like you know, the last 3 months I was traveling, and it was my first time away from my comfort zone of being in a fixed, good paying job, or being in a group of friends, or being close to a family that would just feed me every day and just chill out with.
But
so,
by the way, like when you left with your, I think you had a bike and
I completely sold out everything, and I was trying to
so I think it was Amy who said I think so. Then later on it will become like, you know, I realized that it was a joke, like, you know, because she said that you're going to become a monk, and I really believed it, because I said to myself, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to become a monk? Maybe he went through some stuff, and then he wanted to get away from it so that he could have a clearer vision, and then he could come back to, you know, like Bruce Wayne in Batman.
Exactly,
like he goes from Gotham, he trains, and then he comes back.
That's the thing. That's one, and just simple day-to-day example is, if we want to get from one place to another, we need Google Maps. We have to look a bit higher and see where we are and where we need to get. Just standing in the middle of the street cannot tell us which direction to go. There's so many possibilities.
Do you remember the time when the phone would ring and you wouldn't know who is on the other side?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Like it
has its own qualities to it. But I think today
I would call my friends to their mom's house, and then they would be like, is Surya there?
Exactly,
So great, man. So thanks for joining. I mean, I think we'll do this, you know, a lot. And next time we will take a movie, and then we'll try to, like, what is your favorite? Like, it's okay. You said like the movie that you have in mind now was Interstellar, but what is your all-time? Like, for example, my all-time favorite is The Matrix, the first one.
Okay.
Because that's the first movie that I started talking with my friends, and then my friends started talking about me. Like, you know, now when people talk about Easter eggs, like in Marvel movies, if you see like on the left-hand side of the screen, you see the logo of this character, blah blah blah. Actually, for me, like that's the first time that I noticed that there is something behind the screen. There's not only like there's a meaning. There's a when Neo comes to see the Oracle on the wall. There's a board there's something written in Latin, and that's know yourself. I think so. And that, I think, who said it? I think is it Plato? I think it's one of the great philosophers who said it. And you know, like, so there was this philosophical, and I'm all about philosophy. I love philosophy.
Me too.
So you know, Matrix was my all-time favorite. Like, do you have a all-time favorite? It can also be an Indian movie, you know.
An all-time favorite. I think it was. I'll have to dig. It kept changing. That was something which I would say is a quality and also a concern. I kept moving on, so every time my favorites keep changing, and I never had a preference. On top of my head, or at least if I try harder, right now Interstellar stays on the top.
Okay.
Or a bit further, more recent would be the Infinity War, the Avengers Infinity War. So also I observe myself of things that attract me. There was a time when what someone does, like if the lead character fights, that would be my main piece of attention, or the dialogues, or say the romance between the actor, the hero and the heroine. But now I feel like I'm more interested in the characters and the motivations of what makes the character into what they do. So Infinity War was one of them, where I want to support for the characters that fight the evil. At the same time, I feel so empathetic towards the guy in the
Exactly. No, that was the greatest thing about movie Avengers, that you sort of say, yeah, he's right. Like
so exactly, we are torn apart between the ideas, and same was with the Black Panther as well. We were torn between.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like one of the best
that
villains.
makes us think a bit more and try to be in different shoes and see. Otherwise, we just follow the hero. Okay, this hero beats up, and then he gets a girl. And like
that's what I mean. Indian cinema is, for me, it is going in, especially Tamil cinema. I don't watch all the movies. Like I watch, because since I'm living here in Bangkok, the only way that I get I watch movies based on recommendations from friends. Like they say, Boris, you have to watch this. So that means that I usually trust my friends because they know they have certain taste in movies, and. But that's the thing that got old, actually, and I think people also feel it, like with huge stars, like the hero is so nice, he's like the perfect guy, and then the villain is so bad, but there's for no good reason other than just because there needs to be a villain in the. But when you see like Homecoming, again, we take another Marvel movie, but we can take The Dark Knight, but Joker is, he wins actually in a way at the end, because he turns Harvey Dent into Two-Face, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's his victory, right? So, but he just proved to Batman that people can be corrupted, and so it's so there's I love this video called Lessons from the Screenplay, where he says that Batman wins the battle, but Joker won the argument. So so that encapsulates. And also, like, the best villains make the best movies. Like
exactly. It gives the purpose to the whole movie. Yeah. That becomes the driving factor of what the hero does or what every other character does, because the bad guy affects the whole drama.
Yeah. So okay, dude, that was great. So thanks again for joining
Sure. It was such a pleasure. I would say it was my first podcast, and I hope I did well.
No, that was great. Like, okay, let's just let know the people where they can find you on social media.
Sure. So yeah, I'm Venky, and my Instagram goes by Venky is Living. And you can go there to find out some interesting landscape photographs and probably see me in the stories as well. And as far as my YouTube goes, it's called Venky Needs to Live, and it mostly covers my travel in different parts of Thailand and more of a montage with a nice music. So yeah, if you watch it, like it, just follow me.
Yeah, great. And subscribe to his channel. Right?
Yes. Do subscribe. I need subscribers.
No, that's good. Like, no, I watched the videos and they're really good. And I'm not an editor. I just learned by myself, like, how to put things together. Like when you see on my other podcasts, like, I shot with my phone, but sometimes the video will freeze, but the audio will keep going. So I had to cut and then find the correct. But that's part of the process, and then I realized, like, by doing I learned more than if I just kept watching videos without actually doing anything. So if you just go out there, create stuff and share it.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks.
Let's go.